What's up, my dudes? Shit, boys, I nearly messed in my undies when I found out there was going to be 5 hundies in this game. Oh, it's about damn time, dude. You guys know how I am on the different bikes in motocross games. I feel like they should have all of them in there. 50s, 65s, 85s, 150s, 350s, 500s, fucking 100s, like, all the bikes in the history of mankind should be in motocross games. That's just my opinion on it. I've kind of always felt that way. They should have 125 two-strokes, 250 two-strokes, 254 strokes, 454 strokes. Damn, they've even got like a what is that bike? It's like a 469. I can't even remember what CC it is, but it's a 4-stroke. Some of you guys will know what I'm talking about there. But yeah, man, I think it's awesome that it's going to be in this game. So thank you to Tucker Supreme for the $4.20 Blaze It donation. He says, yo, honestly, I just wanted the shout out, but I would like to do an MX Sim training video too. Haha, thanks, man. Yeah, dude, I'll be getting to that really soon. And shout out to SquidSquadSTL.com. He's supporting me still, and I want you guys to go check out his website. He is actually going to be pro racing in the St. Louis coming up Supercross in like 4 or 5 days, so it's kind of cool that, he's got his own website and he's actually pro racing in Supercross. So definitely go check him out. He's got some cool, motocross, Supercross clothing, stickers, stuff like that on there. But so how I found out about this 500 was on a Vital MX video on YouTube, if I'm not mistaken. They've got a video where it's like they're like going through the MX versus ATV All Out. I don't know, they're kind of like showcasing it a little bit. And I think they might actually be in the studio as well. But what it basically shows is like, I just randomly kind of came across this, and I'm sure some of you other guys out there already know about this, but I just kind of randomly came across it in the video, and you can see like the computer screen in the background with the gameplay on there. You can actually see where it says 500, and you've got a bike right there with a 2-stroke pipe on it, so it's like pretty obvious that 500s are confirmed for this game. So that's amazing. Man, it's just, that's going to add so much fun to the game, just having 500s, and there's no telling, they may have 85s in there. If they go as far as to have 500s in there, it's possible, dude. I would say the closest thing to having other than a 500 is probably like an 85, and then obviously they're probably going to have your 125 two-strokes and 254 two-strokes and 254 strokes and 454 strokes. 450, dude. They're going to have probably the hardcore 4 basically, or your 125, 250, 2-stroke, 4-stroke, and then 450. But if they're going to have that 500 in there, there's no telling what else we might have in there. So I think it's cool. Probably going to have a 50 in there as well if they're going to have 500s. You would just assume that that's how it would be, but I don't know for sure. But just kind of seems like that's the way it would be. But yeah, man, 500s, you just don't see them a lot in games. Even MX Simulator doesn't actually have a literal 500 dyno in the game. Somebody actually went in there and built like a 500 bike model and put like 500 bike sounds in the game where it's like bull, bull, bull. And that's kind of how you can sort of get that 500 experience in MX Simulator, even though it's not like an actual 500. But for the most part, these recent motocross games and stuff have just been pretty lazy with their different bikes that they've been putting into the games. It's just, there is so much fun that can be had on a 50 and a 500 because it's both of your different extremes. You know what I'm saying? Like, 50s are fun because they're so damn slow, and you're just like going -2 miles an hour right beside your buddy, racing him as hard as you're racing on a 450 on any track out there. You're like super competitive with it and just messing around at times, and it just makes for that fun little extra additions that it seemed like a lot of the older motocross games had, that the newer ones seem to totally miss out on that for whatever reason. That's kind of the whole theme to this MX versus ATV All Out. It's kind of like they're going back to that. It's like they're going back to the motocross, supercross, no rehashed shit from older games. They've got free ride, freestyle, you know, coming all the way around, different vehicles, going back to that kind of what MX versus ATV was all about from the beginning. And I feel like that's really what motocross games were all about from the beginning, is like having all of that in one game. I know MX vs. ATV was kind of the only game to really do it, but that's the MX vs. ATV, I feel like, is one of the most well-known. Like, I feel like everybody has played an MX vs. ATV game. Every dude, at least, out there. When they were younger, if they were even remotely into anything with a motor, like, they've probably played an MX versus ATV game, because it appeals to so many different people. Like, if you're a car fan, you know, you can race, let's just say, the monster trucks in the game, or the trophy trucks, or the UTVs. If you're a, you know, more so quad style fan, four-wheeler fan, they got those in the game. If you're a hardcore motocross fan, dirt bike fan, they've got those in the game. And it's just fun, you know, that when you've got that full package, it just makes a full, fun game that really feels like you're getting a full experience out of it. And whenever they add stuff like a 500, now what's going to be interesting is they've always got to be careful and not make the 500 faster than the 454 stroke. You know, that's something that they definitely have to think about to a certain extent, because it's one of those things that, I mean, you don't want everyone to be racing on a 500. That would be kind of bizarre, even though I want 500s to be in there, and that would be such a cool thing. You don't want the 500s to sort of take over just because of them having more power. So that's always a little bit of a balancing act these games have to figure out. And the easiest way to do it, I feel like, is to make the 500 like super powerful, but almost uncontrollable in the corners, right? Like, it's so powerful that it just slides everywhere, more so than the 450. That way you've kind of got somewhat of a balance there. Or just make it like, I don't know how you'd really do that. I mean, you know, your standard in real life 500, it's just hard to ride the bike fast. That's what really, even though it's super fast because it's a 500, it's heavy. It's, you know, even when you see people riding 500s on a track, like, obviously you can go faster than that on a 454 stroke just because of the way the bikes are. But, like, you would think a 500 two-stroke would just be monstrous, but it's almost like too much, if you understand what I'm saying. So if they can capture that in a video game, that would be the golden ticket when you actually think about it. You know, that would be the way to do it, to where it's not... It's more of just a fun thing to go do and like, oh, let's race on these 500s, even though, but it's not like everyone in the multiplayer servers is on a 500 because it's the best bike in the game. You know, that would just be stupid in my opinion. So if they can strike that power balance where it's like the power is crazy, it feels like the bike's always trying to wheelie away from you and stuff like that, then you could get away with giving it maybe a little bit more quote-unquote power than the 450 in the game. You're just going to have to balance that out in some kind of way, but that's probably one of the biggest concerns for a lot of these motocross gaming companies. It's probably one of the biggest things that makes them go, I don't really know if we want to put a 500 in there, because how are we going to make it feel like a 500 but not take over the whole game? You know, like, that's kind of, I feel like, why a lot of the companies, other than being just lazy, they don't really feel like putting a 500 in there. But dude, from what it's looking like, I mean, I would say it's confirmed for MX vs. ATV All Out. Like, you can see it in the gameplay, like on the actual bike customization screen that they have there. You see 500 MX, and then you see the bike sitting there with a two-stroke pipe on it. So it's like pretty obvious what it is, and I don't even know if they meant to leak that. I don't know, and I'm sure I'm probably not the first person to talk about this here, but I had no clue about it. I mean, I'll tell you that right now. I didn't have any clue about this. I didn't hear about it from anyone. For all I knew, they were just going to have 125 two-strokes, 252 strokes, 254 strokes, and 454 strokes from just seeing a two-stroke pipe in the actual trailer. Now, So there is a bit of a possibility here, which would be insane, but I don't think this is actually how it is. Like, maybe that two-stroke pipe that I saw in the certain trailer was just the 500 in the game, and then they don't even have 125 two-strokes and 250 two-strokes. That would be crazy. I couldn't see them ever doing that, but like now that I think back to it, it's like shit. I mean, technically they haven't really confirmed like a 125 two-stroke or a 250 two-stroke. If I'm not mistaken, they may have come out with some gameplay that I haven't really seen, but all that I've really been able to confirm two-stroke wise is like the 500 from what it looks like. So, but yeah, it'll be cool to see once it actually comes out. It's coming pretty soon. I think if you pre-order the game, you get it like 3 or 4 days early or something like that. So we'll definitely be making some videos on that when it comes out. But yeah, dude, just wanted to let you guys know there is a pretty much 99.99% chance that you're going to be riding on a 500 two-stroke in MX vs. ATV All Out. And mad props to them for doing it. It's, I mean, no matter how the gameplay of this game turns out, just the effort behind the content has to get some points to a certain extent. It just does. I mean, no matter what, no matter how the bike feels, no matter how everything is, and trust me, if it feels shitty on the bike, I'll let you know. It's not like I'm just blindly loving this game and then I'm just going to act like there's nothing possibly wrong with it or whatever. If the bike feels like shit when the game comes out, oh, believe your ass, I'm going to tell you about it. But just the sheer content, trying to go back to their old ways, finally, it's like they're coming back around in the mental side of it, like with the game's goal and vision and direction. You know, you got to give props for that. You just have to. And then seeing a 500 two-stroke, it's like, shit, dude, yes, it's finally something's coming back around, you know? Either way, I appreciate you guys watching all the videos. Later, dudes.